Definitely the biggest mistake I made in my 20s was just partying too hard. I think it's okay to go out now and again, but partying every single weekend, I don't know how people do it. And really, when my life changed was when I started going to the gym, I started working on myself, I started reading, I started doing things actually that wasn't going on nights out all the time. Yeah, going out is fun, but literally the next day, having that hangover, having that feeling the next day, do you really want that every single day? That hangover feeling, how it feels when you've been on a night out? No. You feel way better when you don't go out. You feel way better the next day. So I don't understand why people do it, to be fair. Now you might be thinking, what should you do? What else should you do? Read, go out, do stuff, go to the gym, see your friends. Don't just, make memories that are not just in the club, spending a load of money. Do you want to get to 30 and have thought, what have you done with your life? That was me because it was a vicious cycle. Every weekend, it would get to the end of the week and I'd be like, yeah, let's just go out. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think you should definitely in your early years. I definitely think people should go out. People should have that experience. But there's a fine line. There's definitely a fine line between doing it and overdoing it. And I feel like with me, I overdid it to the point where it was making me feel a very low mood. It was actually making me feel very anxious, very stressed, and also other areas of my life like work, stuff like that. You don't actually realize how much of an effect going out drinking has to other areas of your life. If you wanted to learn to drive, especially in your early 20s and things like that, and you wanted to progress in your career, essentially you're just holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back by literally just going out all the time and doing it and drinking. Now, don't get me wrong. I had some great memories going out with my friends. That's one of my best memories. Are definitely my nights out, and I don't regret it one bit. But I think I still want to go on nights out. I still want to do that. And I still feel like people should. People shouldn't lose track of what they actually enjoy. And if you enjoy going on nights out every single weekend, then fair play to you, do it. But all I'm saying is you've got to just take a look at yourself really and think, how could you really improve yourself? What do you actually want? What are your goals that you've been holding off? And what is your intentions behind the nights out? Now, I'll be real with you. I thought I was going to meet the love of my life in a nightclub, but realistically, that never happened. And I don't think it's the best place to meet girls for like a long-term relationship in a nightclub. And now I'm in a relationship, and I found my current girlfriend off a dating app. And I think if you want to date, dating apps are probably better place to go, especially if you're wanting something long term. And I just don't think that for me, going to clubs, stuff like that. I don't feel like it's, me the one there, really. Now, what I want to ask you is what are your passions? What do you aspire to be? What do you want out of life? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to journal. I want you to meditate. I want you to do all these self improvement things and just see how far your life can actually change just from following any form of self improvement. People don't realize how much of a difference just doing different things in their life can actually make. The moment that your life changes is when you change your life. Now, that is a powerful quote. That is a quote that I have lived by for years. And I do think that, your life will never change until you change your life. I completely vouch that. And I think that anyone out there, get that motivation, understand, what were you doing before the nights out? What were you doing before you started going out that you actually enjoyed? Because a lot of people, they just get looped into it, right? And I don't blame a lot of people. They've got friends, they've got people that they go out with, and they'll get to the end of the week and they'll be like, "Oh, do you want to come out tonight?" And they feel bad. They feel bad because they think to themselves, I don't want to let my friends down. I've not really got many other friends. These are my only friends. And then they just go out. They spend 100 quid, 200 quid on a massive night out, and then the next day they're regretting it. They're waking up in the morning. They've got regrets. They're like, oh, I shouldn't have done this last night. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I just think at the end of the day, if you just stayed in, if you just worked on yourself, if you just actually chilled out, and people don't realize that just grabbing a cup of tea and actually just sitting there and chilling the hell out sometimes can be so much better than just going out with your friends on a night out. Definitely. Something else I regretted massively was the fact that I feel like I neglected spending time with my family. I felt like that was a really important thing. And I feel like, you work an entire week, you get to the end of the week, you go out with your friends, you have a night out. But you don't realise or everything else around you that you actually neglect. You know, going out to different places, doing different things, making memories with the people that you enjoyed this video, guys. Subscribe for more content coming out in the future.